Philadelphia Flyers blue line is taking shape, but not without controversy. General Manager Danny Brière sat down this week and gave us a brutally honest look at where his defense stands heading into the 2025-26 season. Some players earned their spot. Others lost it. And for a few names, like Emil Andrae and Egor Zamula, this camp may have changed their career paths entirely. Today, we're breaking down every key point that Brière made about the Flyers' defense, player by player, so stick around. Danny Brière made it clear. The Flyers' top pair belongs to Cam York and Travis Sanheim. York's grown into a smooth-skating, high-minute defenseman Philadelphia envisioned when they drafted him. Brière noted that York looks way better this year than he did last season. Stronger, more confident, and more assertive with the puck. Sanheim, meanwhile, remains the team's most trusted veteran on the blue line. Brière emphasized that he's not worried about Sanheim at all, calling him steady and reliable. Someone who quietly logs 20-plus minutes a night without complaint. Together, they represent a blend of youth and experience that gives the Flyers stability at the top. But Brière's tone also hinted at something deeper, that York's continued development is crucial because the rest of the defense corps remains unpredictable. And if the Flyers are going to stay competitive in the Metropolitan Division, York and Sanheim will have to shoulder a massive load. The Flyers' second pair of Nick Seeler and Jamie Drysdale might be the most intriguing of the group. Brière pointed out that both players have taken a noticeable step forward, especially Drysdale. He said outright that York and Drysdale look way better this year than last year, which is a massive compliment considering Drysdale's injury-plagued 2024-25 season. This fall, he's moving with the puck with confidence again, showing flashes of the elite transition game that made him a top prospect in Anaheim. Seeler, meanwhile, remains the heart and soul type, a physical, fearless defender who blocks shots like his life depends on it. Brière isn't worried about him either, which speaks volumes. The Flyers clearly view Seeler as a tone setter, the kind of veteran you want next to a puck-moving talent like Drysdale. Look, is it a flashy pairing? Absolutely not. But it's one Brière believes can handle tough minutes. In a season that's expected to test the Flyers' structure early, that's exactly what they need. If there's one part of the Flyers' defense that's still unsettled, it's the third pair. Brière acknowledged that players like Egor Zamula and Noah Juulsen have been hit or miss. He praised Juulsen for improving as camp went on, calling his veteran presence important on such a young team. Juulsen's journey has been about survival, once a high draft pick, now fighting to stay in the NHL. Brière respects that grind and believes that Juulsen's steadying influence can help the Flyers manage their bottom pair minutes. But Zamula, his stock's fallen. Brière admitted that Zamula struggled in camp and progressively got worse since the first preseason game. That's a harsh assessment, and it could mean his role is in serious jeopardy. For a player who was expected to solidify a third pair job, this camp has been a massive step backwards. Brière even hinted that there's competition for the bottom two spots among the group of depth defensemen, a sign that Zamula could slide right out of the lineup if things don't turn around soon. When asked about the overall state of the defense, Brière didn't sugarcoat it. It's hit or miss, he said. That's about as candid as it gets from an NHL general manager. Some players like Juulsen and Adam Ginning have stepped up, while others have disappointed. Brière's comments highlight how volatile the Flyers' defense depth remains. The organization lacks true middle pair consistency. And beyond York, Sanheim, and Seeler, there's question marks everywhere. This hit-or-miss evaluation speaks to why the Flyers' rebuild remains in a fragile phase. One injury to a key defenseman could expose the lack of reliability behind the top four. That's why Brière's patience with certain young players and his frustrations with others carries extra weight. The margin for error is razor thin. The takeaway here? Philadelphia's blue line's not set in stone. It's more of a revolving door. An early season performance could reshape the bottom half of the depth chart very quickly.
When you're on the ice, not a word really needs to be spoken. That was the beauty of being a Flyer.
I've played with a lot of great teams, a lot of great players, but that was the closest group of teammates I've ever played with.
In football, you need that quarterback to be special. In hockey, you need your goaltender to be special. And Pelle was just beginning to emerge as a player.
Pelle wanted so desperately to be a star in the NHL. It's what he wanted most.
Pelle Lindbergh.
Thank you, Bernie.
By all accounts, Pelle was not a drinker.
He picked his spots carefully. He would drink, but to be impaired, intoxicated, very rare.
And then the next thing I know, all I seen was a white wall. I said, Pelle, there's a white wall. There's a white wall.
It was a horrific scene. The car was mangled.
The headlight in front of Pelle had to be back 3 feet from where it initially should have been.
I read an article, you almost got into the Porsche. Is that true?
Not really. Me and Murray Craven lived 3 blocks from the establishment, so we just walked home.
Catching the wall right here in this corner, it was devastating.
And he went into cardiac arrest, and CPR was started immediately.
Talked to the police. I asked him, I said, is he going to be okay? And the police officer said, he'll be lucky to live.
Police officer asked us if we had to identify a body. And I remember looking at Murray, and Murray goes, I can't do it. My gut was turning, and I didn't know what to do.
And he passed away when I was holding his hand. You know,
that moment?
That moment, yeah. And so we were destined to be a team.
Pelle, I don't blame you. I never blamed you. I wish I could take that day back. And so many people you've touched in your life miss you.
One of the biggest surprises of Flyers camp has been Adam Ginning. Brière specifically mentioned him as a player who wasn't expected to be in the mix at the start of camp, but played his way onto the team. That's the kind of statement that says a lot about work ethic. Ginning came in as an afterthought, a stay-at-home defenseman without elite puck skills, and simply outworked people. His positioning, penalty killing, and physical play earned him praise from the coaching staff. For a Flyers organization trying to build a culture of accountability, Ginning's emergence fits perfectly. Brière clearly respects players who seize their opportunity, and Ginning did exactly that. Now the bigger question is whether his game can hold up once the real season starts. But for now, he's gone from long shot to legitimate roster piece. The kind of underdog story this Flyers rebuild keeps producing. But not every story out of camp has been positive. Brière didn't name names when discussing players who underperformed, but it's clear he was referring to Helge Grans. Grans has the size, the reach, and the raw talent to be an NHL defenseman. But Brière's tone made it clear he didn't show enough. The Flyers had hoped the 23-year-old Swede would take a step forward, but instead, he finds himself on the outside looking in. This could have been a make or break camp for Grans. Instead, it was a massive step backwards. And in an organization suddenly seeing unexpected names like Adam Ginning leapfrog the depth chart, that's a bad sign. Brière's message was blunt. Opportunity was there, and some players didn't take it. The kind of internal accountability is good for a rebuild, but bad news for anyone who thought their spot was safe. Brière was surprisingly positive about Noah Juulsen. Once viewed as a fringe player, Juulsen played his way into consideration for a full-time spot. Brière described him as a veteran presence, someone who got better as camp went along, and that improvement hasn't gone unnoticed. Juulsen's experience gives the Flyers something they've lacked, a reliable stay-at-home defender who can calm things down when the game gets chaotic. For a young team with multiple puck movers, having a player who plays simple, physical hockey matters, and Brière knows it, and he seems to trust Juulsen's consistency more than the offensive flash of some younger options. It's a reminder that not every roster spot is about ceiling. Sometimes it's about dependability. Juulsen might not be exciting, but right now, he's useful. Beyond the immediate lineup, Brière's praise for Cam York and Jamie Drysdale carries long-term significance. He said both look way better than last year, which suggests they're trending toward being the future anchors of the Flyers' defense. Both are first-round picks, both move the puck well, and both fit the style of hockey Philadelphia is trying to build. Brière's confidence in them signals that no matter how chaotic the bottom pair gets, the organization believes its core is set. For Flyers fans, that's encouraging. York and Drysdale are still young, still learning, but they represent the identity shift that Brière's been preaching since he took over. Skill, skating, and pace. And with both showing maturity this camp, it's clear they're ready to lead the next wave of Flyers blue liners. Brière didn't spend much time on Travis Sanheim, but what he did say spoke volumes. I'm not worried about him, he said. Sanheim's become the veteran backbone of this defense, capable of playing in every situation. He's been through the ups and downs of this rebuild and remains one of the few who has earned the trust of both the coaching staff and front office. With young players still finding their footing, Sanheim's stability is critical. He allows York and Drysdale to develop without being overexposed, and his quiet leadership sets the tone for everyone else. In a blue line full of volatility, Sanheim is the constant, and Brière knows it. One subtle but revealing detail from Brière's interview came when he mentioned Dennis Gilbert. The Flyers' depth defender will not report to Lehigh Valley because Cam York is dealing with a lower body injury and is considered day-to-day or even week-to-week with the injury. That's notable. It means the Flyers are keeping Gilbert around as insurance, a sign they're worried enough about York's availability to hold on to an extra defenseman. It also shows that roster flexibility remains a top priority for Brière. He's juggling development needs, injuries, and cap space simultaneously. Keeping Gilbert up ensures the Flyers won't have to scramble if York misses time. Still, it underscores how fragile the defense situation really is. One injury, and suddenly the entire structure can change. When asked about Emil Andrae, Brière didn't dance around the question. His blunt answer to whether Andrae was too small to make the team was simple. Yes. With York and Drysdale already on the roster, both smaller puck-moving defensemen, Brière admitted that it's difficult to fit another player of that profile into the mix. Instead, Andrae will log heavy minutes with the Phantoms. Brière insisted they still believe in him as a prospect, but the message was clear. The NHL lineup does not have room for another undersized defender right now. It's disappointing, especially for fans who see Andrae's skill as NHL ready, but it also highlights the roster imbalance Brière's trying to solve. Until a spot opens up, Andrae's job is to dominate in the AHL and wait. Brière's interview paints a vivid picture where the Flyers' defense stands: uncertain, competitive, and still evolving. York and Sanheim are the foundation. Drysdale looks revitalized. Juulsen and Jennings surprised. Zamula and Grans regressed. And Andrae, once again, is caught in the numbers game. The key word here is transition. The Flyers are still sorting out who fits the long-term vision and who doesn't. Brière's honesty was refreshing, but it also made one thing clear. This defense isn't finished. It's a work in progress, full of potential, but also frustration. And as the 2025-26 season begins, all eyes will be on whether this blue line can finally deliver consistency instead of chaos. That's going to do it for today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. What do you think about this year's decor? What do you think about Danny Brière's comments? In the meantime, don't forget to keep it high, keep it wide. We'll see you next time on HW Hockey.